So it is 7:34 now. It was an early morning this morning. So I still have about half of this cup that I had this morning. So I'm gonna turn it into a bulletproof coffee, but I figured I would make that with you. This was just coffee with a little skinny syrup and just a small splash of heavy cream. So I use my Ninja cups. I'm gonna put this coffee in here because it's silly to waste it. I'm gonna put a little bit more in, about that much. I'm gonna give it one more splash of peppermint bark skinny syrup. It's almost empty. I am going to do a tablespoon of the MCT oil. I'm not going to put any more heavy cream in it. And I'm going to put some butter in it. Pause for a moment. I have some Kerrygold butter. I'm just going to take a tablespoon. I already have it broken up. And then I keep Kerrygold just to put in my coffee. I just cook with regular butter the rest of the time. And I'm also going to put a tablespoon of collagen peptides in there. So I am going to buzz this up. Usually I would wait a little bit longer, but I was up really early this morning. To any of my keto friends out there, I got these at Trader Joe's, and even though it's not MCT oil, I have been keeping, they come in little packets like this, and you can warm them up in your hand or whatever. Sometimes, like, I have them in my diaper bag and in my purse. Like, if I was at a restaurant, I just kind of, I know it's kind of gross, I'd just stick it under my leg, like between my leg and the chair, and warm it up, or, you know, whatever. But they're great to just have around. They're great for everything, even if you don't have any chapstick, or you're out of lotion, or you forget it, or whatever. So yeah, I'm gonna buzz this up, and this will be it for me until this afternoon sometime. I'm gonna get ready and fix the kids' breakfast. I've been cleaning the kitchen. It is almost spotless. I gotta do dishes and put away the clean ones in the dishwasher, but my husband is in the shower getting ready for work, so I'm gonna wait and do that after. But I will see you guys in a bit. Guys, so it is a little after 8. The kids have eaten breakfast, so I'm going to get ready. I did my dishes, cleaned my oven, got all picked up. So I'm gonna start on a little bit of meal prep for next week. I have stuff out here, which will have to sit for a little while because I just barely took it out. But I'm gonna make some fat bombs, my absolute favorite fat bombs. So I will show you when I make those, and I will link the recipe in the description bar below. I am going to, I'm not gonna go crazy today. It is only Saturday, but I'm going to hard boil some eggs in my Crock-Pot Express. I've never done fresh eggs before. Normally, when I normally do eggs, I usually use, well, I say usually, I've only done it a few times, but I've only done store-bought eggs, which that's the only reason I buy store-bought eggs, is to hard boil, because peeling fresh eggs is not fun. So I'm gonna give it a shot with the fresh eggs. I'm gonna try to pick some of the bigger ones. Where we live, if any of you are new, we live in the same house as my mom. Kind of have a duplex, and she has chickens, so we get, well, she gets about 10 eggs a day, so works good for me because we are eating keto. And so I'm gonna put 8 ounces of water in the bottom. The eggs are on sorry, to find out, on a trivet in the bottom. I actually ordered, we got some money for Christmas from Amazon, and I just ordered a accessory kit for the crock pot. It has like the egg bite cups and whatever, so that'll be here next week. So we're gonna do this. That's gonna take about, mine takes about 8 minutes to heat up. It's a little bit different than the Instapot, but not completely. I've done a few Instant Pot recipes in it, and it works just fine. What are you doing? Are you being my helper today? Say hi.
I want to say hi.
Say good morning.
Good morning, hi.
Okay, so eggs are working. I'm gonna set you up here in a minute. I got the idea from Erin over at Erin Does the Keto. I'm not gonna do all of these, but I have some string cheese and some salami. I'm gonna wrap a few of those. Oh, that cupboard door is open. Drives me crazy. And I have 1 block of cheddar and 2 mozzarellas I am going to shred myself. For any of you who are not on keto, it's better if you shred your own cheese because the pre-shredded cheese has like a powder in it to stop it from sticking together, and that has carbs in it. So I have an attachment for my KitchenAid to shred cheese, so I'm gonna do that. And that'll probably be it for now. We're gonna have fish for dinner, so I will show you that when we get there. And I am still working on my coffee. Usually takes me a while to drink it because I get interrupted constantly. But I'm gonna keep going, and I'll see you guys in a bit. Is it good? Okay guys, so it's only about 8:36, so that didn't take me long at all. The eggs are getting run under some cold water. The cheese is all grated and put in the fridge. And the panino fingers are all made. My macros on those panino fingers, the carbs on the salami for 4 slices is 0 carbs. And the cheese sticks that I got are just the low moisture, part skim mozzarella cheese sticks. These are less than 1 gram per stick. So 0 carbs per serving, which isn't too bad at all. I'm done cooking for a little while. I'm going to let those eggs cool, and then I will let you know how they peel. It's going to be a little while before I can make, unless I microwave this cream cheese. I usually just let it sit out on the counter. The butter has to be melted anyways, so it's just the cream cheese. I kind of let it warm up a little bit. I've got a few other things I've got to do anyways, but basically they are a cheesecake fat bomb. It's got 2 sections. The bottom half is really just cream cheese, butter. I like to put an extract in. At Christmas time I did a peppermint extract in the chocolate layer, and they tasted kind of like a peppermint patty. I'm going to use coconut today and put it in the filling. You add a little bit of sweetener, and that's your filling. And then on the top, it's just cocoa powder. I have the special dark, a little bit of the seasoning, and melted coconut oil, and you put them on top and it hardens. So they're kind of like a chocolate coconut cheesecake fat bomb. They're delicious. I don't necessarily eat them for fat. I mean, I do, but I keep them around for sweet treats. I would rather eat something like this. Not that I don't eat sugar-free candy. I do, but it has really been messing with my stomach lately. So I like to keep these around. I make them in mini muffin tins. I think it's 1 carb for 2 mini fat bombs. I'm not sure of the macros on the fat. I would have to look it up in my phone. But I keep them around. I like to have 1 or 2 like after dinner at night. Or if I'm really having a craving for something sweet, they curb it and I feel better. So that's it for now. I'm going to go get some other stuff done, kind of clean up the kitchen a little bit, and I'll see you guys later. Excuse me, sorry. Alright guys, so it is about 11 o'clock and I'm not super hungry. That coffee definitely held me over. I didn't finish it. Like this much in the bottom got really cold and the butter kind of coagulates and then I can't drink it. And I'm not super starving, but it is 11 o'clock. I'm going to have a little something right now. I'm almost done my first 30 ounce of water. I need to fill it back up. So I had 3 pieces of bacon that we cooked last night to have bacon cheeseburgers. So I just threw them in the microwave and rewarmed them, and then I'm going to have 1 of those hard-boiled eggs. Look at the color. I don't even know if you can see it on here, but see how yellow that is? That is a farm fresh egg. I'm going to put just a little pink salt on there and have my water and this. And then we'll see. I may have a snack this afternoon, but like I said, we're going to have fish for dinner. I will probably have, it's like a fish. You lay the fish on the pan, and I have a thing of multicolored tomatoes, and it's got a butter herb sauce, although I don't really have a lot of fresh herbs, so I don't know what I'll do. I know I have some chives, and we'll see what I can come up with. But anyways, you just bake it in the oven. I'll probably just have some of the Trader Joe's mashed cauliflower with it, and I think I have some Brussels sprouts, so maybe Brussels sprouts. So it'll be a pretty, excuse me, low carb dinner anyways, but I'm gonna eat this for now, fill up my water. I still am waiting on this to warm up a little bit more. If it isn't warmed up by the time I'm done eating, I will just put it in the microwave for a few seconds so I can get those made and put in the freezer, because it has to be done in 2 steps. You have to kind of let the cheesecake part get cold, and then you pour the chocolate on, and then you let them freeze. So I'm going to try to get to that in the next hour or so. So I will see you guys in a bit. Fat bomb time. So I have my Pampered Chef mini muffin tin ready. Because of kids, any of you moms out there, I only have 18 of the little silicone, they're just squishy silicone muffin tins, and a mini muffin tin holds 24. So I have a couple big ones standing by that I'll just kind of like stand up on this muffin tin. Should only take 2 or 3 of the big ones to fill it all out, but those are all in and ready. My cream cheese is at room temperature. It's in the stand mixer. I have the whipping blade here and the cream cheese. The butter is all melted, so even if the cream cheese is a little cold, it should be okay once you put the hot butter in. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm just going to let it whip for a few minutes and let it get soft and airy. I'm going to have to open my second. I did look, one of these, depending on how many it makes, I'm going to have to recount because it's been, I can't remember the last time I made them. I can, but I don't remember what I got. One is 1 carb and 14 grams of fat, but 2 of them is still 1 carb, so not terrible at all. So I'm going to get this going. Just mix this at first. Then I'm going to add in 2 teaspoons. I don't like them crazy sweet, so I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of this stevia sugar substitute and just a little splash of coconut extract, and I'll be back. Okay, so it did take about 3 minutes. I've always melted the butter. I'm sure it would mix easier if the butter was just softened, but the original recipe that I had told me to melt it. But anyways, it is now soft and creamy. I just whipped it until, for a few minutes, it will look really gross. It'll almost look like curdled milk. But that's okay. And just a side note, I'm using this today because this is what I could find. Normally I buy the pure, and for some reason my Walmart did not have any, and I used the rest of mine cooking at Christmas time. And I hadn't ordered any Swerve or anything. I've used Swerve and it's probably my favorite. The pure I really like. But like I said, my Walmart did not have any, and I knew I wanted to make some of these because they really helped me. I didn't have any over the Christmas season. I made, for any of you here who don't follow her, Keto Ginger, who is Amanda, and Lauren Braze made some thumbprint cookies. I made those, and I made another kind of fat bomb that I kind of took around to my Christmas parties with me so that I would have something to eat, and I used all of my pure. So this isn't the best. It does have dextrose in it, but for one little fat bomb a day, I'm not going to be too hard on myself. So I am going to just take a little spoon. I may actually just use my teaspoon measure and measure them all out, and then I'm going to take my finger, and my clean finger, in a little bit of water and just kind of smush them down so they're even. I'm not gourmet. It does not have to look perfect. You just kind of want a flat surface because we're going to throw these in the freezer, and then in a few minutes after it's had time to set, we're going to melt some coconut oil and some cocoa powder and drizzle it on the top, and then we're gonna sprinkle it. I did forget this earlier, but we're gonna sprinkle it with some sea salt, just a couple pieces to kind of, I don't know, just taste great. And then we're gonna put them in the freezer and just let them harden, which will take a couple of hours. So nothing fancy. I'm just gonna put them in and level them out as best I can and pop them in the freezer. Alright guys, so as you can see, I got the 18 and then I got 4, which makes it 26 servings. I dipped my finger, there's just a little water in this bowl that I melted the butter in, and then I just pressed them down so that they're smooth. I'm going to pop them in the freezer for about 20 minutes and then we will work on the next step. I completely lost track of time. It's like 2 o'clock. I finished the fat bombs. They are in the freezer. I will show you those when they're done. I made a batch of crackers. My mom does gluten-free, dairy-free. She doesn't eat legumes at all. And she makes these amazing crackers. I'm going to show you. They look like this. I haven't mapped out the macros yet. This is the first time I tried baking them. They're made with almond flour. If I can find the recipe, I'll try to link them down below, but this was just a recipe that my mom gave me. They're made with almond flour. They have like flaxseed meal in it, lemon juice, Italian seasoning, melted coconut oil, and nutritional yeast. And then you top it with the everything but the bagel seasoning and kosher salt, and you bake them. They're really good. This is the first time I made them, so the outsides were a little too thin, so they got a little dark. They still taste good. And then inside, they're a little thick. I may not have rolled them quite thin enough, but they will do. I need to put them all into my recipe builder and see what the macros are on them. I can't imagine it would be very much, but I will let you know. I just got this in the mail. Unfortunately, I do not have anywhere in my area that I can buy Bang. The nearest GNC I have is about 2.5 hours away, and this time of year, it's not interstate driving. It's all small town roads, and this time of year the weather can change on a dime, and it can get really kind of nasty and gross, so we don't venture that far unless we have to. I went a couple weeks ago and I did get a few kinds that I hadn't tried, but most of the time when I order them online, I have to pick a flavor and only order one flavor. So I'm trying this one. Actually, I had one the other day. This is a blue raspberry, blue raz. I would say probably the sour head is my favorite, and don't stone me to death, but the one I dislike the most, the one that I probably would never buy again, is the cotton candy. I don't really care for the cotton candy. So I had 2 crackers and I took my mom a couple. But other than that, I haven't had anything to eat. I'm going to have one of these and clean my kitchen again for like the 3rd or 4th time today because my kids are like tiny hurricanes of mess. So I'm going to have this. I have drank 2 of my Beast tumblers full of water, so I'm 60 ounces in. I'm going to get this tallied up so I know what I can eat. And I'm going to get these Bangs put away in my cupboard. Alright guys. What's the matter? Oh yeah, you got your apple. Apple. What's the matter? We want some oranges. Hold on, guys. Mama duty calls. Oh, give her cheese. Okay, we'll give her a little bit of cheese. That'll keep her busy for a minute or so. Okay, so I'm getting ready to cook supper. I have in the oven, if you can see it, the top shelf is for the kids. It is some fish nuggets and some potatoes, and then in the bottom, in the casserole dish right now, is just a stick of melted butter. You heard me, a stick. I am doing keto, y'all. Okay, so then I did not cut these in half. Normally, if I was going to roast these Brussels sprouts, they're fresh. They're not steamed or anything. If I was going to roast them in the oven, I would cut them in half. But I'm going to cook them in my air fryer tonight. So I'm going to leave them whole. I find that they are just really good that way. I like them air fried if they're cut in half too, but I find they get a little crispy, which is not a bad thing. But I like cooking them whole. These are pretty small, but I like cooking them whole because they get nice and crispy on the outside, but the inside is still soft and succulent, I guess. I'm going to put a little avocado oil, just salt, pepper, and garlic, and I'm going to put those in the air fryer. Once that butter is melted that's in that casserole dish, I'm going to throw in, sorry, I'm looking for them. Haha! Sorry if I'm making you dizzy. I'm going to throw in all of these tomatoes with a little salt. And I'm going to let those break down a little bit first. The fish is really thin, so it's going to cook really fast. I just have some frozen tilapia pieces. And this is going to cook really fast. And the last time I did it, I laid the fish down and I put the tomatoes on top. And the tomatoes did not have time to burst before the fish was done. So I'm going to cook the tomatoes a little bit first, put the fish down, and then I will put some lemon juice and a little bit of chicken stock if it needs it, depending on how much liquid the tomatoes give. I'm going to lay my fish on the top and just season them up and cook it like that. And I'm trying to decide if I'm going to have some mashed cauliflower or not. I do have a half a cup tracked, so I probably will, but I haven't gotten that far yet. So I'm going to keep going after supper. Alright guys, I hit a button. So after supper, I do need to put these away. I have tracked 2 of them, or a big one, it doesn't really matter. I think I actually might put them away now. I like to leave them in the freezer. They've been in the freezer all afternoon, and they are nice and hard. But I will show you what they look like after supper. I'm going to get them all taken out of the silicone molds and cook up dinner, and I will see you guys in a bit. Alright guys, I have a very cranky baby, and I'm hoping after supper she can go to bed. She's sitting here eating supper with me, kind of. So, who says the keto has to only be ground beef and cheese? Now, while this isn't the fattiest meal I've ever had, I did drizzle maybe 2 tablespoons of the butter sauce over my fish when I put it in the bowl. And there's a little olive oil on the Brussels sprouts, but it's very low carb, so I'm okay with that. Not every meal has to be super high fat. Pretty much everything else I've eaten today has been really high in fat. So I took a picture and I will insert it, but I basically have a serving of Brussels sprouts, and I told you, see, they get nice and crispy on the outside, but they're still really soft and tender in the middle. And then I just have maybe a 3-ounce portion of the tilapia. The tomatoes have like fallen apart, added to the juice in the pan. I did add about 1/4 cup of good drinkable white wine to the pan when the tomatoes were in it and the butter. And then I laid the fish down after the tomatoes had started to pop, and I put salt and pepper on it. And then I covered it, I sprinkled on fresh basil, dried basil, dried parsley, and dried dill. And I let it cook about 8 minutes, and this is what I came up with. So after I took the fish out of the pan to put it in my bowl, I drizzled some of the butter sauce on the top. I don't count carbs for Brussels sprouts, so the only real carbs are the tomatoes. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 maybe, which I think is about 3 carbs. And then I'll add an extra one in for the lemon juice and the wine. So 4 carbs for dinner, not bad. It looks good. I was gonna have some cauliflower mash. I don't think I need it. I think this is probably good. And then I do have 2 of the small fat bombs tracked for after dinner. This is my 4th water. So we're at 30, 60, 90, almost 120 ounces today. It's like right here. I did actually have time to do my nails today. For my Revel girls out there, this is the first time I've ever been able to do my natural nails when they're not short. So yeah, I have Crux, which is a mood changer. It gets dark gray when I'm cold. And then this is Starry Nights, which is one of my favorite. I broke my thumb, so that one's short, but that's okay. So I'm gonna eat my dinner and get this. I will show you the fat bombs before I get this uploaded. Okay. All right, guys. So it is about just before 6 o'clock. It's about 10 of 6, and my eating window closes at 6. I'm not really hungry, so I'm not gonna have any of the fat bombs, but I'm gonna show you what they look like. This is the big one. Just has the chocolate on the top, a little bit of sea salt. And I mean, they don't have to be perfect. These are the little teeny ones. And I just do that 2 little ones are the same macros as the big one. I'm not really sure comparatively if they equal out or not, but that is what I do. I took them out of the silicone muffin tins and put them in an airtight container. You can put these in the fridge. I actually really like them frozen, so I'm gonna put this in the freezer. I just made myself a cup of tea for the evening. This is the Yogi, I think, healthy fasting tea. I really like this one at nighttime. It kind of settles my stomach. It says that we combine Garcinia cambogia with fennel, licorice, and red clover, along with burdock and dandelion root to support healthy cleansing during a dieting or fasting program. With warming cinnamon, healthy fasting tea makes for a tasty addition to an overall wellness plan of exercise and a balanced diet. I just really like it, especially at nighttime. Like I said, it is warm, so it's comforting. I can take it after my, I can finish drinking it after my eating window closes. And it just tastes good. So I am going to have this for tonight. I will put, sorry, my face looks really red. Both of my girls are already in bed. Willow fell asleep on the couch and Allura was just miserable, so I put her to bed. I'm going to have my tea and sit down and watch a couple YouTube videos. My boy is watching Captain Underpants. So I'm going to call it a night. I probably will not film again until Monday. So have a great Sunday, everybody. Good night.